Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the MeanGene Show, live streaming on Podbeanlive.com. It's NFL Week 8, and I am so excited to talk about tonight's game, as well as the other games that will be taking place in Week 8 of the National Football League. So last week, no show, but I have the perfect excuse, okay? I was actually in Southern California. I was at the Dodgers and Braves. That was the NLCS game. I think that was game 4, which, as you know, the Dodgers ended up losing that game and, of course, losing the series and the Braves in the World Series. And then on Friday night, I was at the Staples Center in Los Angeles watching the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm glad to be back in Houston getting you ready for Week 8 of the National Football League. So, hey, don't forget to check out the Mean Gene Show on KDWN 720 AM, 101.5 FM. Every Saturday night, I am on in Las Vegas talking NFL football and other sports as well. But right now, the league is hot. The NFL is hot. And, even for a 17-week season, it is moving fairly quick, very quick. So we're going to get you caught up on tonight's game, and as far as what to expect, as far as a couple of big players are out tonight, so we are going to talk about that. And I mean, man, I tell you what, the Arizona Cardinals, I'm looking at the NFC standings right now, and this is a huge game. Right now, the Cardinals are in first place in the NFC West, 7-0, followed by the Rams, who are at 6-1, but the Packers are also at 6-1. So we got a 6-1 and a 7-0 matchup on a Thursday night. I am shocked that the NFL didn't try to move this game to like a Sunday night or Monday night with their flex scheduling. But hey, I know Fox has got to be happy. They will have a huge game. And what's even more exciting, the World Series, there's no game tonight. So in case you keeping up with baseball, the World Series is tied at 1 game apiece. Atlanta Braves got game 1. The Houston Astros came back and got game 2. So it's a travel day for both teams going to Atlanta for games 3, 4, and 5. So the NFL just got lucky. I mean, how lucky can you get to get a premier game? This could be the NFC Championship game preview, right? Both of these teams are good. So something's got to give tonight. Cardinals, I tell you what, at home, I don't want to give away my pick because we're going to have to talk about it and break down this game and let you know exactly what to expect. And then we'll get into the rest of the games for Week 8. So let's get the bye weeks out the way. Only 2 teams have a bye this week. Ravens and Raiders are the only 2 teams. And, and I tell you what, it couldn't even came at a better time for them because looking at the AFC standings, the Raiders are in first place by virtue of having played more games, even though the Chargers did beat them. So the Raiders are 5-2, Chargers are 4-2. Chargers should catch up with them this week after their game. But it's just perfect timing for the Raiders, even to just sort of, just unwind and just look at the season, look at what's ahead, and sort of just get a grasp of the whole situation involving John Gruden. I mean, it's just a perfect buy for the Raiders, if you ask me. And looking at the AFC North, the Bengals are in first place, so they are virtually tied with the Ravens, and it's incredible. And I don't want to give away my Bengals pick for the week, but man, the Ravens, this couldn't have come at a better time for them because they actually get to scout, the Bengals and the rest of the AFC North. There's a big matchup between the Steelers and the Browns this week, so that's going to be critical as well. So, man, only 1 game separate Pittsburgh Steelers who is in last place with a 3-3 record, and the Cincinnati Bengals 5-2. Although the Bengals did beat the Steelers a couple of weeks ago. So, man, so much happening in the NFL, and we are going to get you caught up on everything. So let's just start with tonight's game, which is going to kick off here in I would say maybe an hour and 15 minutes. Actually, I take that back. About an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, so the Green Bay Packers 6-1 visit the Arizona Cardinals 7-0 as the 2 hottest teams in the league meet on Thursday Night Football. Tonight, Green Bay enters the contest, having won 6 consecutive while Arizona is 7-0 for the first time since 1974. All right, so let's go ahead and break this game down. Key injuries, though, not really injuries. These are COVID-19 situations involving the Green Bay Packers. So they are going to be without um, two of their wide receivers. Okay, so they're going to be without wide receiver Alan Lazard. He's on the reserve COVID-19 list. They're also going to be without um, wide receiver Devontae Adams. He's also on the reserve COVID-19 list, and these are big-time targets. If you look at the stats, both of these guys have been so dominant and a big part of the Green Bay offense. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with Green Bay now. So, when someone is out, then there's always the next man up mentality. So the Packers did activate a couple of wide receivers to be prepared and be ready to go tonight. One of them is Juwan Winfrey. You'll see him. He'll be out there tonight, number 88, I believe. That's his number. And then you also see Malik Taylor. He'll also be coming out. He's activated from the reserve COVID-19 list, so he was actually put on there. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. And I tend to think that what should happen in this game is that the Green Bay Packers should probably hand the ball off to Aaron Jones, see what's going on. But man, don't think that Aaron Rodgers is not going to find these targets. He's also got Randall Cobb, who will be available to go tonight. And as far as the Arizona Cardinals, the word got out that J.J. Watt would be potentially getting this season-ending surgery on his shoulders. So oh man, this guy is just a great guy. People in the Houston area know J.J. Watt for what he did during Hurricane Harvey and the amount of money that he helped raise for the city. But he's just a classic guy, man. They love that guy. And so to see him, not in that Houston Texans uniform this year is mind-boggling. But he landed in a good spot in Arizona. So it seems like the Cardinals are definitely going to miss him. And he has been, pretty instrumental in that defense this year. But they still have a good defense. Don't think that just because J.J. Watt is going to be out for the season that the Cardinals are not going to be a good team. They are still good. They are going to be well prepared to continue on. But this matchup tonight, oh my goodness, it just doesn't get any better than this. So let's give you a little history on these two teams before we get into our Week 8 picks here. We have, let's see what happened last week. Last week, Week 7, it was the Arizona Cardinals beating the Houston Texans 31-5. So not much of a in-your-face type win for Arizona, even though DeAndre Hopkins and J.J. Watt both played with the Houston Texans. So they just went out there and just did what they were supposed to do against a bad team. And I'm shocked that the Texans were even to get any points on Arizona, but they did score 5 points. And the Green Bay Packers, they beat the Washington football team by a score of 24-10. Rodgers, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a quarterback rating of 127.6. And Kyler Murray, he had pretty much the same, 260. I am fighting with a fly. Can you believe that? Interrupting my show. 261 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a pick, but he had a 121.3 quarterback rating. So big matchup. Like I said, disadvantage as far as targets for Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard. They won't be available, but that will not stop Aaron Rodgers from throwing the ball. But he also has Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had 70 scrimmage yards in 7 of his past 8 games on the road. So he actually plays pretty good on the road. So, and then now when you look at the Arizona Cardinals now, they can mix and match things up too. I mean, they got James Conner. He had 64 yards last week. You still got Chase Edmonds. And then now I believe DeAndre Hopkins is questionable for tonight, but I don't know. It could be a game time decision. He may or may not play. But even if he doesn't, you still got A.J. Green. You got Zach Ertz, who they just picked up, and he scored a touchdown last week. So Kyler Murray just has all of these toys to play with. and get things done here. And like I said, on defense, even though you won't see J.J. Watt out there, you still have Buda Baker, still got Marcus Golden and Chandler Jones. You can hear these names tonight. Chandler Jones has 8 sacks and 11 tackles for loss and 8 career Thursday night football games. So he likes to show out on Thursday nights. And Buda Baker, man, I remember when they drafted him. So this is going to be a really good matchup. So I guess I have to make my selection. But before I do that, and before you write down what I'm going to say and where I'm going with this, let me grade my papers from last week. Okay, in week 7, I was 9-4. All right, I got the Arizona win. I got the Green Bay win. I lost with the Panthers because I thought they were going to get it done. I got the Atlanta win. I got the Tampa and the Indianapolis win, the Cleveland win, the Las Vegas Raiders win. But the Detroit Lions, I am going to pick them, of course, until they win a game. But it's just the hype last week, the hype about Jared Goff going back to Los Angeles. And then if you can remember, if you watched the press conference from the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell had gave a press conference and called his quarterback out and said, hey, this guy, he just got to step up and do better. And I thought that was enough motivation for Jared Goff going in there. It was a close game in the first half. I don't know what happened, and things just fell apart. Matthew Stafford and the Rams just got the best of them, and I don't know what to say, but I'll let you know what's going on with Detroit this week. But anyway, I lost that game. I won the Titans game. I won the New England game. Lost the Baltimore game. That was interesting there. And then I won the Saints game. So that made my record 9-4 for week 7 of the National Football League. So tonight, let's go ahead and get these picks going here. Thursday night football, I got the Cardinals winning. Although, I'm a little nervous because Aaron Rodgers has actually owned, like he did the Bears, he has owned the Arizona Cardinals. But this is a very different Arizona Cardinals team. They're going to be at home at State Farm Stadium there in Phoenix. I've been in that stadium before. The crowd, I tell you what, Arizona Cardinals fans are just coming out all over the place. I got quite a few of them on my Facebook friendship there, but they are proud of that team. They are just really, you had the Phoenix Suns earlier this year, making it to the NBA Finals. Then you had the WNBA Phoenix Mercury that made it to the WNBA Finals. So it's like, whoa, what's going on in Arizona, right? And but man, and if you listen to my show, it wasn't the live streaming show here on Podbean, but it was my KDWN 720 AM show in Vegas. Before the season even started, I said that the Arizona Cardinals was my surprise team of the year. Now, I had no idea that they would be 7-0, possible chance to go 8-0, and could really define how things could shape up in the NFC playoffs. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, when you think about the Arizona Cardinals and you think about the NFC West, Cardinals, Rams, I don't know. The Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers, I don't know. Seattle's really got to dig themselves out of that hole. They're in last place in the NFC West, and as long as Russell Wilson is out, they are going to suffer. But I got the Cardinals winning tonight. I got the Cardinals going 8-0. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's going to be fun to watch and see. But it's also going to be fun to see how Green Bay, like I said, Aaron Rodgers has owned them for a while. He's played some great football against this Cardinals team, but, not this is a different team, like I said. So I got Arizona Cardinals winning tonight's game. So let's start with the first game on Sunday. Carolina Panthers 3-4 at the Atlanta Falcons 3-3. Panthers let me down last week. They lose to the Giants. How do you lose to the Giants? At the time, I think the Giants had only won one game, right? So they lost at 25-3. And now the Sam Darnold experience in Carolina is questionable. And he may have even got a wake-up call when the Panthers said that they were interested in the Deshaun Watson trade. But I think now they have pulled out of that trade But, it had to send a message to Sam Darnold. Okay, hey, we got you. And remember, the Panthers started season 3-0, right? So they have dropped 4 games in a row, starting with that Dallas Cowboys game, and they have lost 4 in a row. And the Atlanta Falcons, 3-3. Falcons got the win over Miami last week, 30-28 at Miami on the road. So Arthur Smith is doing pretty good with the Falcons there. He's the new coach there. Cordarrelle Patterson, the running back, who used to play wide receiver, because if you see him, he's a big running back. He's a tall running back. Had 60 yards, touchdown last week, and Mike Davis is the other running back they have. I tell you what, Matt Ryan is having fun with Kyle Pitts. This is the rookie tight end they drafted. So 7 catches, 163 yards. Who knew that one player of that magnitude would make a difference in the Atlanta Falcons season, even though they are in a tough division? So it actually made that division more interesting, because what looked like would be just a runaway with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that NFC South has now become pretty interesting. So you got a huge matchup this week between the Saints and the Buccaneers, but the Falcons there at 3-3, man, this is going to be interesting here. So I am going with the Falcons now. It just seems like a different Falcons team. They got rid of Julio Jones, got this tight end who's basically is replacing him, but Calvin Ridley is the main guy. And he's getting it done too. So Matt Ryan is having fun with Ridley and Kyle Pitts. And so I got the Falcons winning the game on Sunday versus the Panthers. Next game, Miami Dolphins 1-6 at the Buffalo Bills. It's just some games are just like a no-brainer. This is one of those no-brainer type games. I don't know what's going on with Miami, and they are really caught up in this Deshaun Watson trade and Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know. I mean, this is a young guy who they drafted high, and now they're talking about possibly either trading him or doing whatever and bringing in Deshaun Watson. I mean, this is not good. The Bills have won the past 6 games over the Dolphins, and this one is not going to be any different. And we're talking about a Bills team that is coming off a loss and a bye. So they lose to Tennessee, and then they get a bye last week. And, man, there's no way they're going to lose at home to the Miami Dolphins. They know what's at stake. They're 4-2. And the AFC is really, 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 really tight. There are a lot of great teams in the AFC, and Buffalo's not going to play around with Miami come Sunday. So I got the Bills. All right, let me pause right quick, because I need to go into the app, because I know I got some people listening, and I need to acknowledge those of you who are following me right now on the live streaming on Podbean Live. Thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. Hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope I say great things about your team. Okay, let's get back to the next game we have on tap. Is the San Francisco 49ers 2-4 at the Chicago Bears 3-4. Interesting here with the Bears. Okay, the Bears, they're not really mathematically out of the, any opportunity to make the playoffs in the NFC North, even though, that's Green Bay is the leader in that division. And as I look at the NFC North, the Vikings are 3-3, the Bears are 3-4. So this is a critical game. And if the Arizona Cardinals beat the Packers tonight, like I have predicted they would, then you got the Cowboys playing the Vikings on this week. And if they lose, then the Bears could be, right back in the thick of things. So, of course, they have to get the win over the 49ers, which I have them doing. I have the Bears winning. They lose to Tampa Bay last week. Man, miserable. So if they just looked at the game film from last week and just said, hey, this is what we need to do, we got to play better. It was a horrible game. And Matt Nagy won't survive as the coach of that team if they, play another game like they did. But Justin Fields, man, he continues to be the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, and they really got to do something to protect him. Khalil Herbert is your rookie running back. Darryl Mooney one of your top receivers on that team. I think they can handle the 49ers. I'm not really convinced with the 49ers. They lose to the Indianapolis Colts last week, 30-18. I like the Bears in this game. I don't know what's going on with the 49ers. At one time, Kyle Shanahan was supposed to be an expert when it came to quarterbacks, and he's got two of them now, even though Trey Lance is not available for him because he's out injured. So, I mean, it's just the 49ers are in a bad situation right now. Only two great players on that team, Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell, the running back, rookie running back. But I think the Bears can take care of this one. This one's going to be at Soldier Field on Sunday. And oh, what I forgot to mention is Sunday is Halloween. Okay. So we could have a lot of scary games come Sunday. All right. I had to throw that in there. Okay. The next game, Pittsburgh Steelers, 3-3 at the Cleveland Browns, 4-3. And oh my goodness. Now, if you have listened to this show and if you have followed me, and speaking of following me, you can follow me on Twitter at Sports Kings. You know I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Okay. I don't pull no punches about it. Win, lose, draw, whatever happens with the Steelers, I'm down with them now. They're coming off a bye week. They beat the last game they played was against the Seattle Seahawks. They beat the Seattle Seahawks without Russell Wilson. It was Geno Smith. The defense did their thing. But this Cleveland Browns team, they lose. I'm sorry, they win last week over Denver, barely 17-14. So, and if you can also remember last year, it was the Cleveland Browns that eliminated the Pittsburgh Steelers out the playoffs. They went to Heinz Field and beat the brakes off the Steelers. So I like Mike Tomlin and the Steelers coming off a bye week, even though this is a road game. It's going to be played at First Energy Stadium there in Cleveland. And the Browns, I tell you, they are, let me go to that AFC division there. So I just get a text from my son, said he just broke the 100,000 miles on his Dodge Challenger. As long as the car's still running and he's not on the road and need help, then we're all good with that. All right, so let me get to this. Okay. Let's see. So the Browns 4-3. Yeah, I mean this is going to be a very interesting game there. So the Steelers, if they get the win, then they the AFC North is interesting. I don't know if the Bengals are really going to win that division. I don't see it coming, but man, I believe in Joe Burrows and Jamar Chase, though. I can tell you that much. But I got the Steelers beating the Browns because I'm not even sure if Baker Mayfield is going to play in this game. I don't think he is. I think they're going to end up going with Case Keenum, who passed for 199 yards and a touchdown last week. Well, not last week, but in that week. Yeah, it was in the week 6. So that was his first start of the season. So let's see. They do have the running back, Dearness Johnson, who led the team with a career 168 scrimmage yards and rushed for his first touchdown last week. So, I mean, he was the top running back last week in fantasy football, believe it or not, for week 7. But I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to get this win, so that a win would put them at 4-3 and drop the Browns to 4-4. So that's going to be a good game to watch there come Sunday. The next game, Philadelphia Eagles 2-5 at the Detroit Lions 0-7. And, just by that record there, I would say that, man, this is the one time that the Lions should get the win. The Eagles are just a bad team. And I know I got some Eagle Eagle friends out there that really like this team. Las Vegas took care of the Eagles last week, 33-22. They just don't, I mean, I don't know what Nick Sirianni is trying to do with this team. You got a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. I think Miles Sanders got hurt last week. So you got Dallas Goedert. He's coming back from an injury. And then you got Devontae Smith. I don't know what direction the Eagles are going in. The Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. And only one team from the way I see it is going to go to the playoffs from that division. But the Lions, they have just really played some good games. They lose 28-18 to the Rams, but that score it was a much closer game than that score. I mean, the first half of that game, they were in control of the Rams. The game was going to be played at Ford Field in Detroit. I am going to pick the Lions. Okay, you already knew that, right? I mean, they're going to win a game. I mean, they have lost some close games. I mean, they are not your typical 0-7 team. They actually do show up to play, but they just don't finish. And this has got to be they had the right game plan last week versus the Rams. You just knew Jared Goff was going to go in there and try to get even with his former team, but it just didn't happen, and that would have been a hell of a story. Because I really like Jared Goff, but I'm going with the Lions to win this game. Okay, because the Eagles, I mean, this is a 2-5 team. They are bad. As a matter of fact, the Eagles play worse football than the Detroit Lions. So I got to go with the Detroit Lions. It's just going to be cool to see Dan Campbell get his first win of the season. So that's my pick there. Next game, speaking of the Rams, we got the Rams 6-1 at the Houston Texans 1-6. Now this could be a scary game, but like I say, it is Halloween, right? And I don't see a 1-6 Houston Texans team beating. You know, you got 1-6, and then you got the Houston Texans. And if you've seen the Texans play, they are just horrible. They lose last week to the Arizona Cardinals, 31-5. I had Patrick Creighton from 97.5 ESPN in Houston on the show earlier in the year. We talked about Deshaun Watson, and this was during the summer, right before training camp started. We talked about it was more Deshaun Watson news at that time. But we did talk about the upcoming season, which is, where we are now. And I mean, he had the Texans not winning any game. So he's awfully close. I just don't see how the Rams are going to lose. And if they do lose, we'll blame it on Halloween. Okay? That's the only thing I can say. I got the Rams beating the Texans and improving to 7-1. And that's what makes tonight's game even more interesting with the Cardinals and the Packers. So I got the Rams winning on Sunday. Next game, I got to catch my breath here. Tennessee Titans 5-2 at the Indianapolis Colts 3-4. Now let's talk about the Colts because here's a team that had a tough schedule and which accounts for the 3-4 record. But lately here they have been playing some pretty good football. Big props going to San Francisco in that crazy weather they had last week and knocking off the 49ers. But this Tennessee Titans team, oh my goodness, they beat Kansas City. Yes, they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Buffalo Bills the week before, and then they beat Kansas City. It doesn't get any tougher than that on their schedule. And I think this is a pretty easy schedule. An easy game here. I got the Titans winning, and the Titans. I picked the Titans to win the AFC South, and I think that's going to happen. But this is a division game, so these games are a little bit closer and a little bit more exciting than you think. But man, Tannehill, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown. They even got Julio Jones in the mix last week, although he hasn't just had that breakout game yet, which I think is coming. But AJ Brown is the top guy, believe it or not. But no, I got the Titans winning this game. Nothing. But you know what though? It is going to be a game where you have two of the league's best running backs, Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. So it should be a great game from a ground perspective to see what these guys are going to do with the ball when they get it. So, but I got the Titans winning that game on Sunday. The next game, the Cincinnati Bengals 5-2 at the New York Jets 1-5. The Jets team is just bad. They are worse than the 0-7 Detroit Lions. Okay, and I know that things look promising with Zach Zach Jones. I think that's his name. The quarterback they drafted there. He's out. So they had to go to the bullpen, so to speak. And they got quarterback Mike White. He's going to make his first start on Sunday. So I mean, that's always exciting. And who knows, the team might rally around him, but I don't see it. The Bengals, man, like I said, they have everything going for them. Zach Taylor's got to be impressed with this team. Joe Burrows, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase. I mean, they just clowned last week in that 41-17 win at Baltimore. And this is the Baltimore Ravens. And you just don't beat the Ravens 41-17 in Baltimore. They won that game on the road and convincingly. The Jets, man, they should be scared as hell. And then the Jets last week, where Baltimore, I mean, where Cincinnati was pounding Baltimore, where the Patriots were pounding the Jets 54-13. And I don't know, Sunday's game may not be any better. It's going to be a long day for the New York Jets. I don't see the Bengals I don't see them letting off the gas. I mean, they are really playing great football. And everyone struggles with the tight end. CJ Uzoma. Okay, I probably screwed it up too. Everybody, there was this thing I received and how to pronounce this guy's name. Obviously, I didn't look at it right. But anyway, his name is close to the one wide receiver they used to have. People made fun of his name. Who's your mama? Well, who's Majada is what his name, but we always said who's your mama. But anyway, so interesting. They get another tight end with a funky name there. But it's that rookie wide receiver, Jamar Chase. You know, he played his football there at LSU with Joe Burrow. So this, Waddle and Tua Tagovailoa, they were teammates in Alabama. Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith were teammates in Philly, but it only seems to be working for the Bengals, the LSU connection there. You got the Alabama connection in Philly. You got the Alabama connection in Miami. But this quarterback, wide receiver, oh my goodness, this is doing wonders for the Bengals. Okay, all right. Next game we have is the New England Patriots 3-4 at the Los Angeles Chargers 4-2. So New England, you basically used that game last week as practice for this week, because the Jets were no match for the Patriots last week, but the Chargers are coming off a bye. Okay, so and they lost that game before going to that bye. The last game they played was against the Ravens, and the Ravens handled them 34-6. So I got to go with the Chargers in this game. They're going to be at SoFi Stadium. Oh, and by the way, I got a chance to see SoFi Stadium for the first time last week, and that is one hell of a stadium. I mean, a very interesting stadium. Now, I used to live in Los Angeles, and I used to go to the horse races there at Hollywood Park. So they basically tore down the racetrack there, and they built the stadium around that. So the Chargers and the Rams share that stadium. But man, it was pretty interesting. And then the Forum, if you're familiar with LA or the Inglewood area, the Great Western Forum is where the Lakers used to play, and I used to take my kids to go see the Lakers at the Great Western Forum. That place is still there. I think they do concerts there now, but man, that stadium is pretty interesting. So, all right, back to the game. The Chargers should win this game. They're coming off a bye, and like I said, they lost the week before the bye. And New England, I just think the defense there is going to have Joey Bosa should have fun with Mac Jones. Should be quite interesting. So the Chargers should improve to 5-2, and like the Raiders have a bye. So for the most part, if the Chargers win, they'll be in first place in the AFC West, even though they would have the same record as the Raiders, but because they beat the Raiders. All right, the next game we have is the Jacksonville Jaguars 1-5 at the Seattle Seahawks 2-5. So the Jacksonville hasn't played a game since they upset Miami for their first win of the season. That was over in London. And so after that game, they had a bye. But I don't know. The Seattle, they lose Monday to the Saints in a 13-10 game. Defense did their part. But Geno Smith is doing the best he can to fill in for Russell Wilson. But I think they beat this Jacksonville team. I'm not even worried about this particular game. They get back in the win column. They're 2-5. Man, they're in that same position like the Kansas City Chiefs. If you don't get some wins there, you're not going to make the playoffs. So I think that's what the Seahawks are looking at. And there's enough time in the season left for them to make a strong effort to be a wild card team, because they're not going to win the division, but they will win on Sunday versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right. Next game we have is the Washington football team, 2-5, at the Denver Broncos, 3-4. So Denver is almost like the Panthers. They started out 3-0. The Panthers started out 3-0, and both those teams have lost 4 games in a row. Denver lose to Cleveland. Close game, though, last Thursday, 17-14. And the Washington football team, they lose to Green Bay 24-10. I like the Broncos in this game. Nothing against the Washington football team. I just think the Broncos should get this win. The Washington football team is not that great, even though they should be better than what their record is. But I just got to think the Broncos are going to get it back together. Teddy Bridgewater has been doing the best he can there with that team. Vic Fangio, I think they get the win. I think they get the win at home on Sunday. All right. Now, this is the matchup here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 6-1 at the New Orleans Saints, 4-2. I emphasize at because it's in the Superdome, right? And whoa, this is going to be a good one. Now, you got Jameis Winston, who spent that time with Tampa, and you know the story. They shipped him on out of there, and this is one of those games where Jameis can have the last word, just pretty much like Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford last week. The Buccaneers are good, but they are due for a loss. Now, strangely enough, the Saints have won the last 5 games that they've played now. Most of that was when Drew Brees was there and Tom Brady wasn't with Tampa Bay. But I think this is a big-time game here. I mean, it is a NFC South matchup, and I know if the Saints win this game, then that race gets even tighter. And for Tampa Bay, no matter what Tampa Bay has done, this game right here is really critical. So if we look at the NFC South, you got I mean, like I said, the Falcons are playing great, but I think it's going to come down to these two teams, which both teams could make the playoffs. If that's the case, Saints lose, then it's a one team. It's a one-team race there, and probably only one team would go to the playoffs from that division. But I like the Saints, okay? And it's Halloween, and it's in New Orleans. They're into all that voodoo stuff down there. So who knows what the hell? If I was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I probably would have tried to reschedule this game. Who wants to go to New Orleans on Halloween, right? But no, I seriously speaking, I like the Saints in this game, and this is going to be another good one to watch. Because it is, man, it's going to be a good one to watch, and I really think Jameis Winston is throwing the ball so well. I mean, there was some passes he made last week, and his wide receivers just didn't get it done. Marquez Callaway, they're not using Traquan Smith as much as I thought they would, but the Saints got a pretty good defense too, and this game is going to be good because you got Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, the linebacker. You got Marshawn Lattimore, and then you got Malcolm Jenkins, of course. So this is going to be a pretty good game to watch. But I got the Saints. I have the Saints winning this game. And I got to look at my cheat sheet, make sure that I didn't change that pick. No, I got the Saints. I'm calling it an upset, but it wouldn't be that much of an upset because the Saints are a pretty good football team. All right. So, okay. So the next game, the Sunday night game, Dallas Cowboys 5-1 at the Minnesota Vikings 3-3, and this pick right here is depending on that calf strain that Dak Prescott is dealing with. The Cowboys had a bye last week, so they thought maybe he would get strong enough to play. The last game they played was that close overtime game with the New England Patriots. They won 35-29, and then you got the Minnesota Vikings coming off a bye. In the last game they played, they were in overtime also. They beat the Carolina Panthers 34-28. But it's all depending on Dak Prescott. Now, according to the last bit of information I got, he's been limited in practice. So that makes it a little tough there, And the Cowboys have been gliding pretty much, as I say. They've been gliding. I mean, now this is an NFC division, no, an NFC conference opponent in the Vikings, but I don't think the Vikings pose that much of a threat to them. But if Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and these guys, that Justin Jefferson wide receiver they got there, it can get it together, and Danielle Hunter, the defensive end, yeah, I can see the Vikings pulling this off. So I'm making this pick based on the fact that Dak Prescott may not play. And if that's the case, then the game is going to be played in U.S. Bank Stadium there in Minneapolis. So I'm going with the Vikings, and I'm going with the Vikings because I don't know if Dak Prescott is going to play, and even if he does play, is he going to be healthy enough to play? And that's the risk that the Cowboys are dealing with. I think they said they were going to have the director of rehab make a decision. I think the director of rehab name is Jerry Jones. So, I mean, but no, I don't think look, Jerry just spent all this money on this kid, and I don't think they're going to let him play. And like I said, it's a Minnesota team. They're going to win the NFC East division, win or lose. That won't hurt them. Now, loss would make things tighter in the NFC conference when it comes to playoffs and where things might lead up down the road. But I don't know. I just wouldn't risk it with a quarterback like that who you're going to need. This game is not that important to start Dak Prescott, in my opinion, okay? All right, and now it brings us down to the Monday night game, and oh my goodness, 2-5 New York Giants at the 3-4 Kansas City Chiefs. And I repeat, the 3-4 Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know what's going on with the Chiefs. I call it the Super Bowl hangover. They have made that Super Bowl a couple of times. And, I saw it with the Atlanta Falcons, man. When Atlanta Falcons, they were up, 28-3 in that halftime Super Bowl against the Patriots and lose that Super Bowl. And the Falcons hasn't been the same. Well, I think we're seeing this with the Chiefs. And, of course, defenses will study game film, what Patrick Mahomes does on the field now. Everybody's watching, and it shows. But now he has made some really boneheaded decisions. I mean, he has made plays where should have just tucked a sack, and he's throwing the ball from his knees and throwing picks. I mean, he just looked like a different quarterback. I don't know what's going on with Patrick Mahomes now. Mr. Picks, who will be on my show. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a show Monday night, and this is going to be a different show. I'm actually bringing on Mr. Picks, who he's out in Vegas with me from time to time, and he will always give you the odds and the overs and unders. And then I believe Steve Phillips is supposed to join us. So we're supposed to have like one of those backyard conversation type shows, which might be very entertaining. So I'll put that out there Monday, and that's going to be on the Podbean live streaming show. So a special Monday show that I rarely do. I rarely do a Monday show, but we're going to do one because the guys want to get together and talk some trash. All right. But I got the Chiefs winning this game. I don't, and it's not on Halloween, so it shouldn't be any tricks and stuff like that they have to worry about. But they really need to get on track here because I don't see how. And let me go to the AFC conference and let me go to the AFC West. They're 3-4. They get the win. They can go to 4-4. And then, I know they got a date with the Raiders and the Chargers. And they can just play their chances. But if they lose this game, there's just no way. They would drop to 3-5. And I would have to say that no one should be worried or talking about the Kansas City Chiefs from this point on if they lose this game on Monday night. And I got them winning. And I just think they're going to get it done. And they don't seem to be panicking, but they should, because it's almost halfway through the season. Even though it's 17 weeks, man, the time just flies like that. So anyway, that is it. Those are my picks for week 8 of the National Football League. I know about 1 hour. we're going to see a pretty exciting game between the Packers and the Cardinals. So enjoy your Thursday night game. Enjoy the rest of the World Series and the Braves and the Houston Astros. And then I think there's some college football games on tonight, but I don't think anybody's going to be watching college football tonight. And then, of course, get ready for Saturday college football. Get ready for Sunday NFL. All right. Hope you enjoyed the live show here on Podbean. And I will be back next week to do it all again. Well, I'll be back Monday for that special show for Monday Night Football. But then I'll be back next Thursday for the regular live streaming show. So enjoy your evening, and we'll see you next week.